Hi everybody and welcome to Heel Heat. My name is George Coles, and on this episode we're doing a top 10. Topic of the top 10? Top 10 Randy Orton Wrestlemania matches. That's a mouthful to say. I kind of wanted to do this and cover someone and not be like the obvious Undertaker Wrestlemania matches, which I think I did a top 10 on anyway. But I wanted to go over another wrestler that kind of feels like he doesn't get his flowers for how great he is at WrestleMania and some of the good matches that he's been in. With that, obviously we have to pick someone that has over 10 matches, and there's really not a whole lot of those guys. You got Triple H, Kane, Undertaker, Bret Hart, Hulk Hogan, and I'm probably missing a few, but there's probably some others that just are slipping my mind. But as you can see, it's a rarefied air to be on the top that long, to get matches on the biggest stage and have some of them that would be considered great, in my opinion. With that being said, we're going to go through here. I'm not going to give any winners here, or try not to. I might give some spoilers. I apologize if I do. Mostly we're going to talk about the quality of the matches and what I think his 10 best matches at WrestleMania are. Starting off with number 10, from WrestleMania 35, Randy Orton versus AJ Styles. To me, this is one of those matches that when AJ was basically the ace of TNA and Orton was one of the aces of WWE, I kind of always wanted to see. I wanted to see this as a dream match. I'm one of those people that, much like JBL, thinks that Randy Orton is one of the best from top to bottom wrestlers of all time. I think he's absolutely perfect. I think he's so effortless that there's people that think his style is boring, but if you really watch and you really pay attention to what he's just doing it better than anybody else can. And when you speak of someone like AJ Styles is one of the best wrestlers that's ever stepped in a wrestling ring. This was a dream match. I loved it. That's why it's on our list. Now going from that, our number 9. From WrestleMania 38, a 3-way tag team match. RK Bro, Randy Orton, and Matt Riddle versus the Street Profits, Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford versus the Alpha Academy, Chad Gable and Otis. I really like this match. This is one of those sneaky good matches that probably is better than it should be, but when you look at the participants, how could it not be that good? These were 3 good teams, and the Street Profits still are, and Alpha Academy, well, I guess they're not Alpha Academy anymore. They were a good team. And RK Bro, there was something about it, something about the way that Riddle and Orton interacted. It felt so organic and so real. I love this match. Again, that's why it's up here on our list, and I'm sorry if I keep saying I love these matches. There's an obvious reason why they're here, but I digress. Going from that, our number 8. From all the way back at WrestleMania 24, another 3-way match, this time a singles match. Randy Orton versus Triple H versus John Cena. When we think back to the era of WrestleMania 24 and that era of WWE, these are 3 of the guys that were the stalwarts. Your Triple H, your Cena, your Orton, these were the guys that were trading the World Championship, trading the WWE Championship back and forth with each other. And there's a reason for that. They're 3 of the best wrestlers in the world at the time. I absolutely love this match, and as you can see, I'm going to give you a little bit of spoiler. There's quite a bit of 3-way matches on here. It's just surprising the number of them that Orton was involved in. A lot of it is because they were just wanting to put somebody on the show and getting the star power on the show. This is a great match, hence why it's up here at number 8. I'll go from that, our number 7, another 3-way match. Randy Orton versus Rey Mysterio versus Kurt Angle from WrestleMania 22. This again, like I said with the previous one, this is another one of 3 of the top guys of their generation. Basically 3 of the SmackDown stars of the time. A young up-and-coming Randy Orton with an established megastar in Kurt Angle and another established star in Rey Mysterio. This was a really fun match. 3 styles that kind of clashed and worked together very well. I really love this, and I'm sorry, I know I keep saying it. It's hard to say stuff without trying to spoil these matches, which I don't want to do if you haven't seen them, because my hope is if you haven't seen some of these matches, you'll go back and watch them based on my recommendations. But anyway, I digress. Great match. That's why it's here. Going from that, our number 6. From WrestleMania 31, Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins. I'm going to give a bit of a spoiler here, and you've probably already seen it even if you've never seen the match. This is the home of possibly the greatest RKO of all time, where Randy Orton basically pushes his way out of a stomp and shoots Seth Rollins way up in the air to land him in the RKO. Great moment, one of the great WrestleMania moments in my opinion. Two guys that I think are very similar in a lot of ways. Two of the guys that kind of take a backseat a little bit in their generation. Seth to Roman, Randy to Cena, but are kind of the workhorses of their generation. I really love this match. I know, I'm sorry. That's why it's on here. Now, next up, we have a 3-on-2 handicap match at number 5, which makes sense. There's 5 guys in it all together. We get Evolution, Randy Orton, Ric Flair, and Dave Bautista going up against the Rock and Sock Connection, The Rock, and Mick Foley, and that's from WrestleMania 20. This was firmly in the era of the legend killer Randy Orton and him making his mark, going after legends like Mick Foley and having Mick have to call on an old friend and have The Rock come back for WrestleMania. In a bit of a surprise, this was a WrestleMania where people wanted to see The Rock. I'm just kidding. I know there's some backlash this year. I really enjoyed this. This was, again, another somewhat changing of the guard. You got the old guard of The Rock and Mick Foley, Ric Flair on his side, but you got the younger up-and-coming guys in Batista and Orton. Really, really fun match. Hence why it's up here. Now going from that, our number 4. Another one of those pesky 3-way matches. Randy Orton versus Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens from WrestleMania 40. And as you're seeing, there may be a little bit of a pattern here with these triple threats, with these different bigger name superstars that kind of didn't have anything else to do on a Mania card, but they could go out there and highlight themselves. Logan Paul's a guy that every wrestling fan wants to hate, but then he gets in the ring and every wrestling fan has to respect what he does in the ring. You don't have to like what he does outside of it, but when he's in that ring, he's something special. Kevin Owens as well. Kevin Owens is one of the better storytellers in the history of pro wrestling when it comes from inside the ring to his promos to everything about him. This was a great match again, hence why it's on here. Now going from that, our number 3. From WrestleMania 27, in my opinion, one of the worst WrestleManias ever. However, this is one of the bright spots on the card. Randy Orton versus CM Punk. Look, you can make an argument that these are two of the best of their generation, like I keep saying. You add in Batista, you add in Lesnar, Cena, and we're talking about some of the best wrestlers that have done it in that decade. Orton and Punk, in a way, kind of mirror each other, or they're kind of people that on one end, you got Orton, who the Machine got behind, and he caused a lot of trouble and kind of worked his way out of some big spots. Then you got Punk, who the Machine never got behind. He worked his ass off to get to the top, but then also created some headaches. Both these guys were headaches at some time in their career. Two of the premier talents in wrestling over the last 20 years. Obviously, when they get together, it's going to be a fun match. And it really was. Go from that, our number 2. From WrestleMania 21, Randy Orton versus The Undertaker. There were a few times that when the streak was still a thing, I really thought there was a chance for it to end, this being one of them. WrestleMania 28 in the end of the era match, which I thought kind of maybe happened. And probably a couple others, but this was the big one in my opinion. And the reason I say that is, I just talked about Randy Orton. He wasn't really still the legend killer, although he still had shades of that. What better way to skyrocket your next megastar than have him beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania? And obviously, everybody knows this. This isn't a spoiler. The Undertaker did not lose at this WrestleMania. But anyway, I thought it was a really awesome match, hence why it's up at number 2. Now, before we get to our number 1, if you haven't seen my videos before, we do a little thing here called the best of the rest. Basically, it is things that were considered for the list and didn't quite make it, in this case being matches. The first one from WrestleMania 29, Randy Orton, Big Show, and Sheamus versus Shield, Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns. I keep bringing it up and I keep seeing that he's involved in these kind of matches, these changing of the guard matches, where the old guys, the old stalwarts, and funnily enough, Two of them are still doing it in the big time in Sheamus and Randy, and I think Big Show's working at getting back into the ring at some point. But this was just a fun match, a fun six-man match. Show off the Shield really more than anything. I thought this was fun. That's why it was considered, but didn't quite make it. Now, last but not least on the best of the rest, you guessed it, another three-way. From WrestleMania 26, the Battle of Legacy, Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes versus Ted DiBiase. And this was just fun, seeing the three guys in there going up against each other, the former faction, the former mentees and mentor. I really enjoyed this match. I did consider it, and it almost made the list, but it just quite didn't get there. And this was back from WrestleMania 26. I don't think I said that initially. But anyway, I digress. This is a fun match, hence why it was thought of. Didn't quite make it, though. Now, before I get to number one, if you think I put a match too high, put one too low, left one off the list altogether, I think there's 2 or 3 other matches that aren't on the list here. And if you're coming to me from the 5 years in the future, where he's had 5 other matches and 4 of them were better than these matches, go ahead and put them in there too. While you're there, smash the like button, share the video, subscribe if you haven't. All that definitely helps. There's a reason why most YouTubers still say all that hokiness. It really helps us out to get our videos out there, to get monetized, to make a little bit of money. A lot of us do this as passion. I do this as a passion thing. This is not paying my bills by any means, but the little bit of extra money I make off it definitely helps. It definitely helps me put back into the equipment I use, put back into the software I use. Anyway, I digress. Our number one Randy Orton WrestleMania match from WrestleMania 30. Once again, another three-way, the king of the WrestleMania three-ways. Randy Orton versus Batista versus Daniel Bryan. I'm sure everybody knows this match. I'm sure everybody knows the outcome of this match. This was one of those cathartic moments that every now and again, every 7 or 8 years or so, WWE gets landed on their lap. Like the Cody Rhodes finish his story, Kofi Mania, the boyhood dream of Shawn Michaels, the rise of Eddie Guerrero and Redacted. Every now and again, they just get these stories that are perfect and just fall into their laps. This was one of those times. You got the two guys that the corporation wanted to be in the top, in Batista and Orton, and the guy that the fans wanted, in Daniel Bryan. Just a great match, a great story. I loved it. It's my favorite Randy Orton match at WrestleMania, and probably my favorite of the other two guys as well. But I thought it was really, really good. Really showed when the storytelling is perfect, there's no better payoff than a WrestleMania payoff. Whether that be, like I said, the finishing the story, whether it be this, Eddie Guerrero and Redacted, Hogan slamming Andre. When the payoff is perfect, WrestleMania is where it needs to be. And the payoff for this is as good as it gets. But let me know what you think. Let me know down here. Do you agree with my list? Do you have a different matches at different spots? What do you think was Randy Orton's best WrestleMania match? With all that being said, my name is George Coles, and you've been watching another Top 10.